Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy on time. Rich is trying to defame the channel, saying that I'm late. Clearly not late, but ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about what the heck just happened this morning, honestly. So we saw SoFi earnings. We ended up seeing some pretty spectacular numbers. Not everything we wanted to see ended up coming true. Members ended up coming a little less than 1 million, 900,000 instead. Still new record high. And a lot of that's going to be taken for granted because we had set our expectations so high. Obviously, that was, a mistake to do so. And then on revenue, we were much closer, 960 million, 38% year over year growth rates. Didn't get over that 1 million mark or 1 billion mark, but, potentially we might be set up for next quarter. Who knows? We're definitely on the way. That said, the stock ended up opening down this morning. We ended up seeing a run up yesterday, 3.5% in after hour or in pre-market, up 3.5% again. And then opening up, stock ends up falling immediately down to $28.80. That was a sad day, or a sad portion of the day. Then we began climbing up and up and up. And the stock ended up getting closed at 31.66 with a high coming in at 61.98. So all is forgiven, SoFi ended up breaking that curse, seeing another great earnings. We had a positive earnings results. No curse this time round. Evan, what's up, brother? Good to see you. I'm here because I got a notification that you're alive. Look at this guy. Just came from the Nvidia GTC event, and he's here to listen and chat. What a fun guy. Okay. That said, we need to talk about SoFi. We need to talk about Nvidia. We have to talk about all the things that have been announced, massive digital asset treasury changes. Barclays end up acquiring a large SoFi competitor. Really cool things. Tom Lee end up buying BMNR. OpenAI stuff, a lot of Nvidia deals, partnerships. It'll be a full episode. And then maybe if we get around to it, we can talk about Anthony Noto on the CNBC interview, which if you guys haven't seen is very much worth a listen because he drops a little tidbit that I'm not even sure he wanted to drop. I think it might have been a slip of the tongue, but I think that he meant what he said. Okay? And maybe a lot of people missed it because I did too until Timothy Sweeney ended up clearing up some of those concerns. Hong, that's very nice of you, man. I honestly really appreciate this comment. It is the number one most popular stock in the world. So people are giving me so much credit about this name. I, like many, many investors, have also believed in Nvidia. Okay. I'm not alone. This is not a contrarian take. I'm a believer that Nvidia is going to continuously pump and hit new highs. Okay. We ended up passing $200 a share today. I think we actually ended up closing at a 201. Let's see. 201.03. Yeah. And this remains over 40% of my entire portfolio. So to have Shopify hit all-time highs, my second largest position, Nvidia hit all-time highs today, my largest position, and then SoFi as my third largest position also hit all-time highs, was such a stunning day for the portfolio. So these days don't come around all the time, okay? I'm going to enjoy them while they happen, but we're going to see some red in the portfolio as well. But every now and then, we get a little bit of a slam dunk, and I'll take it. Okay. To start off the news for the day, I think that we should jump in. Do we want to go right into the Anthony Noto interview, and then we can jump into some spreadsheets and everything, some data that we didn't actually end up looking at in the quarter, or at least during the live stream? I think that this CNBC interview really sums some things up, and you guys tell me what you hear that you didn't hear during the quarter. Let's have a listen. I also have the Bloomberg interview as well. That one was not passed around nearly as much. Okay. I have the Bloomberg one. It's so funny. The questions are very similar. They both ask about PayPal for some reason. They both ask about OpenAI. I would love to interview Noto. I would not cut him off to ask about another company. I wouldn't stop to say that Nvidia breaking news is putting $1 billion on, Nokia or anything. So anyway, we can dream. Let's have a listen.
Bank SoFi reporting earnings of 11 cents per share. It's 3 cents better than estimates. Revenue of $950 million, also above expectations. SoFi also raising its guidance for the rest of 2025. And joining us right now is SoFi CEO Anthony Noto. Good morning to you. Congratulations on some nice earnings there. We're looking at the stock this morning. Help us understand what's driving this, and then we can try to maybe look out into the future to understand a little bit better what 2026 may portend.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on this morning. We had an exceptional quarter in every way. What's driving our growth is our unique strategy. We're the only place that on a digital platform, you can get all your financial needs served across big decisions that you'll make, like buying a home or paying for college, day-to-day activity like a SoFi money account or investing for your future, or needing a charge card to pay at the point of sale. That diversification has driven really strong member and product growth. Our members grew 35% year over year. Products grew 36% year over year, and that manifests itself in revenue growth of 38%. We've been public for 17 quarters, and every quarter of those last 17, we've achieved the rule of 40 or more. We've averaged about 58%, and that's taking your revenue growth and your EBITDA margin. And this quarter was 67. So it's a combination of durable growth, innovation, and brand building.
So, Anthony, what is the product right now when you look at sort of the multiple different products that you offer in terms of the tip of the spear that's bringing new customers into your ecosystem, which then you're effectively selling, and upselling them other products? What is it that's happening here?
Sure. SoFi Money is by far one of the things that are at the tip of the spear. We have 6 million members. It's a very unique offering. It's the best of checking and savings in one. We give high interest, about a 3.8% APY today. We charge no fees. We provide reward points. You can pay anybody, anywhere that you would like. You can pay via an email address, via a phone number, via your debit card, via ACH. You can now do instant wires as well. So we try to deliver the best place to save, the best place to spend, to do it safely, quickly, and cheaply. In addition to that, you also become a member and you get free certified financial planning, because we're trying to help you spend less than you make and invest the rest. Half of the Americans in the United States don't invest today, and it's primarily because they have no discretionary income to achieve their goals. So that is at the tip of the sword. Another product, Relay. Both products are over 6 million products, both Relay and SoFi Money. Those are the tip of the sword. And then we drive about 40% cross-buy. It was a record this quarter because we have this breadth of products. We're using information that we have about you to help you borrow better, save better, spend better, and invest better.
So
that is helping drive.
Who are you taking share from? If you were sitting around on a Monday morning with a whiteboard, looking at sort of who you actually think of as your competitor set today, who is it? Because obviously there's the banks, there's a number of the digital platforms.
So interestingly enough, the transfers that happen between banks, you can see who it's coming from whenever things are outgoing and whenever they're incoming. So they can actually see who they're losing to and who they're winning from. So this is a question that is very easily answered.
Platforms. I mean, I'm just curious what you would, I won't answer. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not what I think, it's what I know. We can actually see where the money's coming from directly every day, and it's really coming from the banks. In the United States, there's over 5,000 banks. The large banks have trillions of dollars of deposits. We're at about $33 billion of deposits today. We added a record of $3 billion of deposits. And those deposits are coming from the big banks, the largest banks in our country. And that's on the SoFi Money product, which, as I mentioned, is the tip of the sword. In Invest, we're really actually creating new investors as well as novice investors and helping them get up the learning curve. Within student loan refinancing, we really don't compete against anyone because it's a product that's not really offered by big financial institutions. I would say in mortgage, the big banks do not offer mortgage to everyday Main Street customers. And so in each product category, the competitor is different, but overall, it's the big banks.
Right. Okay, I don't know if you saw the news this morning, and I don't know how early you've been up because I imagine you're on the West Coast. But PayPal and OpenAI just announced a partnership where you're going to actually be able to effectively pay for things using PayPal inside of ChatGPT going forward. And to me, this has huge implications for the entire sort of financial community because there's a question of both of the opportunity set to effectively partner with some of these large language models and chatbots, but there's also the possibility of remarkable amounts of disruption that could ultimately take place. How are you thinking about that?
Sure. There are two technology super cycles happening at the same time, both of which that impact the fintech sector and SoFi specifically. One is AI and the other is blockchain. We launched this quarter SoFi Pay, and you can now send dollars from the United States through a level 2 blockchain via SoFi to someone in Mexico and have it convert into the local fiat there in pesos. We'll roll that out throughout the entire world, and then we'll take the SoFi Pay app, which will allow you to pay not just via blockchain and stablecoin, which SoFi will issue, but allow you to pay any other way that you would like to. So it's a universal payment capability. So we're going to put the SoFi app in these foreign countries to allow international payments to be made. What I'd say about these press releases with ChatGPT and others is we're launching products. We're not putting out press releases. There was one yesterday about a stablecoin with a big bank. Let's watch what people actually launch and the impact that they're having. The reaction that we got from U.S. Consumers and our members from launching international remittance, cheaper, faster, and safer than the current mechanisms, was really positive. And so you'll continue to see us innovate behind both AI and blockchain. One thing that we didn't talk about is that we will be the first national bank in the United States to launch buy, sell, and hold crypto on our platform. First national bank to offer that by the end of the year. We'll launch a stablecoin in Q1, which will help us really drive faster, cheaper, and safer payments as well.
Okay, hold on a second. Did you hear that? Listen, we're going to go back. Okay. Did anyone hear what he said? Let's go back. Listen carefully.
Cheaper, faster, and safer than the yes, innovate behind both AI and blockchain. One thing that we didn't talk about is that we will be the first national bank in the United States to launch buy, sell, and hold crypto on our.
So we knew that. First bank that's going to buy, sell, and hold crypto. Okay, that we knew. Let's keep listening.
Our platform. First national bank to offer that by the end of the year. We'll launch a stablecoin in Q1, which will help us.
We will launch a stablecoin. Look, it's in the transcript. Launch a stablecoin in Q1. He did not say that in the earnings. Shout out 100% to Timothy Sweeney for sharing this on X. No one else caught it. Okay? Not that I heard. That's really, really exciting. So what I think they're going to do, honestly, what I think the timeline is Q4, potentially even December 1st, is whenever we're going to see buy, sell, and hold crypto on SoFi. Then SoFi USD, which is the official new name of their stablecoin. I assume that it's built on Ethereum or Solana or something. Probably Ethereum. And that they are launching that the next quarter to help with remittances, payments, interbank transactions, bank-to-bank transactions. Who knows? But very, very interesting. 12.6 million members. We are all hungry for crypto. Big shout out really quickly to Paul. Paul, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, man. Really appreciate that. Congrats to the lucky people that ended up getting those memberships. You can listen to the past members only video that was the after hours for the last SoFi Weekly, just talking about our expectations. I actually think that one was about energy stocks for the AI boom. We'll talk about a little bit of that with, whenever we talk about Nvidia here for a second. But to stay on SoFi, they also announced this Southwest, partnership with Galileo. However, weirdly enough, and thank God I saved the link to Scott Henderson's post, which you can see that he said, I really enjoyed working with the Southwest team. But the tweet, which was actually posted from Galileo directly, was taken down. Anthony Noto, I think, retweeted it. Galileo ended up putting it out. SoFi ended up putting it out, and they all got removed. Now, I don't think that this means that the partnership is at all changed. I just don't know if they were allowed talking about it or not. So that, or maybe they just had one minor detail and they'll repost tomorrow or something. Maybe I'm overlooking it, or maybe I'm overthinking it. But yeah, should be quite exciting to have these large partnerships on Galileo. We actually went down quarter over quarter on the total amount of accounts. I don't know if that's Chime or if that's Robinhood. Seemed a little bit. It definitely could be Robinhood. Okay, there's been a lot more trash talk between the two CEOs. Potentially that has something to do with them no longer being partnered right now. Okay, let me switch over to my spreadsheet as we can go over some of the numbers that I've begin to plug, and we can take a look at where SoFi is going. And actually, I want to check if Fiscal has these on segment numbers for each individual product, because that would make that really easy. Okay, they do. I don't know if they have, maybe they only have the lending products. Yeah, they only have lending products. I'm going to have them change that. Okay, then we won't look at that. We'll use my my thing then. So this is my SoFi spreadsheet. Because we don't have the 10Q, not everything is going to be filled in. So I've got a lot of stuff, okay? But there's a lot of details that we don't have. So we're not fully filled in, but we can start going through some of this and end up pulling a lot of data for, what we foresee going forward for SoFi. Okay, let's begin. Actually, let me begin right here. I haven't even seen this this thing. That should be red. But this is a really cool slide. I love this one. Whenever they first started doing financial services, it lost us more and more money every single quarter. So you can see this dark black line right here, where every quarter SoFi would lose more and more money. And then around Q2 to Q3, whenever it started to break profitability, no one cared, but it was an inflection point. And now you can just see the explosive profitability of financial services and how worth it was to actually focus on that business. So I always love this slide. I look at it every quarter, and yeah, really, really cool. Now we're positive $430 million on creating that segment as a cumulative profit margin. So very cool. Okay, let's go up to the top and we can run through some of these lines. Okay. Total members, as we know, just to help visualize it, this is by far the highest amount of new members that we ended up adding. And the last 4 quarters have just been, record break after record break, and then now up to 896,000 net new members. Okay, so that's after churn. By the way, the amount of churn on new customers, only 6,000 this time. Very, very small. And yeah, this shows us from Q2 of 2022 to now. Okay. But now we're at 12.6 million new members. These are not updated either. This is for Q2. Don't look at that. But we can look at deposits really quick. Deposits have continued to grow. Nearly $30 billion of customer deposits, up from $27.3 billion. And CD deposits or time deposits ended up going from 500 million to 1.1 billion. Okay. The average deposits per customer, which is not based on time deposits, this is only consumer deposits, interest paying consumer deposits, that now that even ticked up quarter over quarter. So even though we added like 450,000 new checking and savings accounts, the deposits per member still went up quarter over quarter. Okay. Pretty cool statistic. At least nerds like me will like it. This is the cumulative amount of contribution profit. So how much these individually had added up for SoFi, for directly attributable expenses. Okay, that's the only thing taken off here, not operating expenses. They're not paying HR. This is purely for these business lines to actually run themselves. So in order, or the margin that we ended up seeing for tech platform was actually pretty bad. And I can pull up the data right here in this dark green. It might be a little small. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. But in this dark green here, each and every quarter, we've ended up seeing margins essentially compress from 35.8% to 31, 32%, all the way down to the lowest we've seen since Q2 of 2023 to 28.3% on the technology platform. Everyone wants this freaking technology platform, and it does nothing for us. Okay? It's not a good contribution profit business. It's slow growing, and it makes up for this tiny amount of green. Yet people want to not focus as heavily on financial services, which is bringing us 53.8% contribution margins. Okay, look at this compared to lending. Lending is bringing us in 53% contribution margins, lower than financial services. So the thing that has no risk to it also has the highest margin, and it's the fastest growing segment of their business. That's insane. Financial services, end all be all for this business right now. If that ever sees worse than expected growth, you'll see me complaining a lot about where SoFi is as a business. Okay, for real. Let's see. I don't have the total loan book just yet, so we can't talk about that. Cross-sell did end up going up. So although we ended up seeing a tick up from members, this is even a faster tick up. So new products came in faster than new members did, meaning a lot of people ended up getting multiple products, more than usual. So this is sort of the breakdown. Very hard to see, but I can sort of scrub over those, and you guys can pause if you need to take a look at them, or you can just check their press release. Yeah. So we don't have the full numbers on the total loan sales just yet, but we do know how many loan originations were that we ended up doing. So look at this. We've only had this business, the blue lines here, for 5 quarters. We did 1 billion, then 1.1 billion of originations, then 1.6 billion of originations, then 2.4, then 3.4 billion. This is an insane level of growth. To take it even further, let's get a quote really quick from Chris Lapointe. And yes, I actually quoted it as Anthony Noto, but no, it was Chris Lapointe who said this. So my apologies. But a number of existing LPB partners came to us and asked us to upsize their commitments, not only in Q3, but Q4. So we expect continued momentum to occur in the last quarter of the year. So they think the loan platform business, although it's continued to grow over time, is going to see an even upsized amount of growth into Q4. Continued momentum. Well, isn't that exciting? Anyway. Why is this like this? Why does it look zoomed in? Okay. Okay, that's why. Let's see what else. This was also quite exciting. Stock-based compensation as a percentage of revenue on the business ended up dropping to the lowest we've ever seen in company history, 6.9%. Okay. Let's see if I can. Where am I? Where's my mouse? Right there. Or maybe I can make that even bigger for you guys. So 6.9% of revenue was spent on stock-based compensation, $66 million. Okay. We've sort of stayed in this same area, even though the business has grown its total employee count. but the amount that we have in terms of new revenue continues to increase. So that percentage of revenue goes down. Pretty cool. That's good. You know, you don't want those expenses if you can save them. Adjusted EBITDA. Why are you not showing? Come on. Adjusted EBITDA. We ended up seeing a 28.8% margin, the highest adjusted EBITDA we've ever seen, nearly $280 million. Another smash quarter for them in terms of profitability. Also, we got 11 cents of EPS. We'll look at that in a second. Oh, actually, so my slides don't show this as well as I need them to, but SoFi's slides do. So, by the way, Barclays, we're going to talk about them in a second. They ended up acquiring one of SoFi's large competitors on the personal loan front, Best Egg. Maybe I can just go into it really quickly. Barclays ended up acquiring Best Egg, which was one of the customers that, you know, BlackRock and Blue Owl Capital ended up going to Upstart, SoFi, and Best Egg to give them a bunch of capital because they didn't know, you know, who was going to have, you know, potentially the best loans, best underwriting capability. So they diversified a bit. But Barclays ended up acquiring Best Egg. It does go to show you how much they believe in this type of industry and how much personal loans are actually growing. So I actually think of it as a positive. I don't think that will, you know, affect SoFi in any sort of way. It's just a good sign. Okay, let's continue on. I wanted to show you guys. So first off, this is crazy. This is one of the best, you know, like gain on sale margins or sale executions for SoFi that we've ever seen. 106.4% is crazy. So you can see in this black line here how much SoFi on their balance sheet that they say that their loans are worth. And they've been going up. And that's been one of the problems that bears have said. Like they've said, SoFi keeps just adjusting their fair value marks, which increases their revenue. And that is sort of, you know, leading to a false sense of improving loans. But then you look at the actual, like how much they're selling the loans, and they're way above the fair value marks. So their loans are better. If you see this trend constantly improving, that's where SoFi's loans should be. Like, you know, maybe they are improving. So this was just great. We ended up seeing essentially a combined $4.6 billion of personal loans, student loans, and home loan sales, inclusive of the loan platform business in Q3. That's a huge amount of loan sales. Huge. Okay. And by the way, part of that was actually student loans, and we got a blended execution of 105.9%. It has been years since SoFi has sold any personal or student loans, because there was a time during 2022, whenever interest rates ran up, that SoFi got buried with an existing loan book, almost like what Silicon Valley Bank did, where they ended up giving out a lot of loans during sort of a rougher time. Then whenever interest rates, you know, went really high, they kind of got stuck with those loans. Only difference is SoFi did it with a much smaller percentage of their outstanding capital. So they didn't get buried, but it was a problem. Now we're back to selling student loans, and that's a very, very good thing. So yeah, we saw that. And then on top of that, another reason that could highlight why we're selling so many loans is that credit performance just continuously improves. Wait, sorry, let me stop sharing. I need to, here we go. Let's make it a little bigger for you guys because that was a little small. Boom. Okay. Consistent credit performance. Look at these personal loan rates. Essentially, where the current book of business is sitting at is 2.6% is their net charge-offs for personal loans. Now, that's because every quarter, like clockwork, they sell 90 million. It's not 90 million this quarter. It's been 90 million every quarter. Okay. of student loans of their worst performing late stage delinquent loans. SoFi essentially says in this light gray mark up here, if we assumed we lost 100% of those loans, which would not be the case, okay, that the total amount of net charge-offs that we would see went from 5.4% down to 4.2%. So there was a big assumption that SoFi is just getting rid of all their loans, and that's why their loan quality is improving. But that's not true. Even whenever you include them, you assume the worst possible outcome, which is 100% of them end up not returning anything. You end up still seeing them fall by nearly 1.2%. Now, SoFi doesn't lose all those loans. In fact, the way that they end up selling these late stage delinquent loans is that there's a buyer. Somebody paid SoFi for the rights to those late stage delinquent loans. You know, they'll go be a loan shark. They'll knock on these people's doors, try to, you know, get them to pay back. But they paid SoFi in cash. So while this rate had been improving and SoFi's been selling 90 million each quarter, they've actually been seeing a return for that. So very good from that perspective from SoFi. We also need to talk about guidance. We talked about this a little bit during earnings, but we really need to highlight it. Essentially, we went from 30% expected growth rates for 2025 up to 36%. 31 cents of diluted EPS to 37 cents. But hold on a second. That's what they say prior full year 2025 guidance is. But that's not true. I mean, it is true that that's what it was last quarter. But remember, SoFi is a beat and raise business. Okay? Meaning every quarter, they want to prove to you that they are going to step it up once more. Actually, what I'm going to do is show you this in two different ways. Let's bring up this, and then let's bring up this. And then let me share my entire window for you. Okay. So whenever you see this page, this is Q3 2025. This is Q4 2024. But they end up showing what their expectations for full year 2025 is. So back in Q4, whenever the stock was like $6-7 or whatever it is back then, it wasn't that low. Sorry. It was probably like $13. But they expected that implied growth would be 23 to 26% for 2025. Then they continuously increased that to 30%, but now saying 36. So they've increased their growth rate by 6% just based off one quarter. They then ended up saying that adjusted EBITDA would be around 845 to 865 million, or a 26% margin. Now, adjusted EBITDA is a 29% margin and $1 billion. So in the span of 3 quarters, we've gone from 850 to $1.035 billion. Net income went from 9% margins. Then they raised that up to 11. Now it's 13%, 455 million. And EPS back then, look at this, 25 to 27 cents. I remember whenever they showed this off, I was so disappointed. I remember thinking like, oh man, I definitely thought it was going to be 32 cents. Like that's my hope. And then the hope is at the end of the day that it would be somewhere around 34 or something like that. Nope. We ended up seeing 37 cents, which also means, take this into account. What SoFi's strategy is always is a beat and raise. Always, like clockwork. I mean, like you can't mistake this at all. They have beaten and raised every quarter for, since they've been a public company. So, yeah, 37 cents is most likely going to be 38, 39, maybe 40 cents. They just beat by 3 cents this quarter. Is there a possibility that they end up getting to 40 cents? Maybe. But the dilution ended up happening between those times. Who knows? Our CET1 ratios, our risk-rated asset ratios are about 20%. That could go down a lot. That could go down to 15%. All that added ratio going down means faster and faster growth rates. So they could accelerate growth in Q4 and then in Q1. So we are like a loaded spring to beat earnings here. I mean, they feel very, very confident. There was also other commentary like about the amount of new members that we're end up adding. They said about 3.5 million. My understanding is they've added, and I'll double check this right here, that they've added roughly 2.5 million so far. I'm just on, they've added 2.5 million members to the company. Now they expect 3.5 million. So they're expecting 1 million new members next quarter, and they're putting that into their guidance. We'll see. We will see. Sorry, member growth of at least 3.5 million. Of at least 3.5. So who knows? And if we end up checking here, you can just see that we've added about 2.5 million. Cool. 2026 EPS is still at 55 to 80 cents. That's still the expectation. If we come in this year around, 38, 40 cents, in order for them to get to 55 cents or 80 cents, which, by the way, like Wall Street's expectation right now is that they're going to do 55 cents. I could double check that right now for 2026, but that was my last read from them. I'm starting to get some of the Wall Street reports. We're going to go through those over the next couple of days. Devin Ryan already put his out for SoFi. I have not even gone through it even a little bit. My expectation is that he's going to be excited. Okay. All right. Let's go to estimates on SoFi. And we will take a look at EPS for the year 2025. Consensus, 32 cents. Look at this. Consensus is 32 cents. So what's going to have to happen for 2025 now that SoFi says 37 cents? What's going to happen over the next week or two as all these analysts start putting out their reports? They are going to have to adjust upward. You think any of these analysts can keep their job while keeping their estimates at 32 cents and then SoFi puts out 30, 37, 38, 39? Yet people freak out whenever the stock goes down 3% as if like we're looking at different earnings. Like we're looking at the same earnings. The earnings were a smash. I don't need Wall Street or the market to tell me that they've improved all metrics. PE is still quite high. Yeah, but we're going from, look at the growth that we're essentially going from. We just went in and had, let me get the right numbers. So on an EPS basis, we went from 5 cents to 6 cents, 8 cents, then 11 cents. In the same year, we've more than doubled our EPS from 5 cents to 11 cents. Okay. Next quarter is how much do we need? Let's check that really quick. We need 12 cents for next quarter in order to hit the target. So from, year over year, Q4 of 2024, what did we get? I think it's 5 cents, right? I'll double check. I have the thing right in front of me. And we need 12 cents next quarter. Last year, the full year, we got 15 cents. Now we're starting to put up quarters that look like the 2024. You know what I mean? The quarter after this, if we end up putting up, let's say it's a really bullish year, okay? We end up putting up 40 cents. Next year, we end up putting up 80 cents. That's 100% growth on EPS. That's adjusted for dilution. It's, all of that stuff. So as Nunn here says, it's high for now, but that's why we need to look forward looking. Now, if you guys look at forward PE, the problem is What number is the forward PE metric using in order to pull what a proper forward PE should be? I'll give you a hint. It's Wall Street expectations. So they're assuming for 2026, 57 cents is the consensus for 2026. SoFi, the company that always beats and raises, that just raised EPS. You guys just watched me. I mean, maybe the new people filing in, go back 10 minutes, okay? We literally just went from Q4 2024. They said full year of 2025 would be, what was it, 26 cents of EPS? I'll have to pull it up again. It was 25 to 27 cents of EPS. Now they're saying 37 cents. And you know, they're potentially going to beat again this quarter because they've done it 100% of times. That's not an exaggeration. They have raised EPS 100% of the time. Now you're looking at consensus going next year from 55 to 80 cents. And they have their consensus just tucked right at the end of the most bearish outcome for SoFi for next year. What's the chance this happens? You know? What is that chance? Now, I'm not calling for $100 in SoFi. I'm not saying that this means that, you know, we're immediately tripling. Okay. I said, you know, after earnings, we probably go up to 31.50. It actually came really freaking close to that. But I thought, you know, earnings will be good, but a lot of it was sort of priced in on the way up. Expectations were really high. But, you know, it doesn't mean that we can't continue to climb higher if we end up proving that, you know, analysts are wrong. 2025 is not going to be 32 cents. It's actually going to be closer to 40. And then next year, it's not going to be closer to 57 cents. It's going to be closer to 80. That's what? You know, a 33% beat. So maybe you can increase your price on SoFi potentially by something like 33%, maybe a little bit more if you think that they can hold up that growth rate for a while. But it's going to be some time. It's going to be some time before we start doubling and tripling. And the honest truth is that there's no telling. But don't put your hopes on it. And I wouldn't put risky bets or calls or something like this to try to predict some outlandish price target. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Tanner, can you check my donation and ask a question about the future of SoFi? Invisible. Sorry, brother. I missed this. Hello, Tanner and everyone. I hope you're all doing well. What's everyone's take on the possible recession and its impact on SoFi? Recession caused by AI taking over jobs. I mean, that would suck for SoFi. But I find there's a recession called... You have these doom and gloomers that call a recession, you know, 60 times for every 2 times that it actually happens. So it constantly happens. You're going to get 3 recession calls a year, essentially. I'll address that whenever we get closer to it, but I don't think that that's actually what's happening. I mean, we don't know if that's what's happening from Amazon or if UPS laying off jobs is more competition related than AI related. There hasn't been too many comments about it, or at least that I've seen. We'll see. But yeah, that's also why you want them to be more fee-based revenue than anything. I'm watching horror movies for the rest of the night. You're just on the background for the algorithm. That's a true man right there. I appreciate the support, my friend. Thank you so much. Hey, maybe a small jobs recession, which AI will mask. Well, that's the thing too, right? It's like, yes, the consumer will weaken, but then the businesses that we're holding will also have margin improvement. But then, if those people don't have jobs, then what products are they going to buy? It's a hard one to wrap my head around. It's hard to weigh the two, the two possible outcomes there. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Really quick on that, by the way, TJ has been getting really into SoFi as of lately, and he's doing such DD. Look at this DD that this man is doing. He took out and got approved for, I think, a personal loan. I think that's a personal loan. He said, I can assure you SoFi has one customer that won't default. Give them time. They'll get to know who I am, and I'll get credit lines and loan amounts that can actually impact my life. We're just getting started with this relationship. That's due diligence right there, ladies and gentlemen. Brother took out a loan to see the experience. Maybe one day he'll have a great relationship with SoFi. Now, TJ definitely does not need the money. But maybe one day he will. One day for a much larger loan. Okay. Tanner, do you see SoFi at 35 with rate cut? So it's a matter of how much of this is already priced in. Okay. So maybe I'm actually going to see if Timothy Sweeney has a second, because would you like to join the stream and talk SoFi? Let's see if we can get Timothy Sweeney on the channel. We haven't had him in a very long time. I know a bunch of people have been asking, and some people have been assuming that I've been like dodging him or something like this. It has nothing to do with that at all. I'd love to get Timothy Sweeney on the show. It's just a matter of my terrible planning, and also reaching out to him past 9 p.m. is also like not the most opportune time for him. So we'll see. Okay. Timothy Sweeney is a busy man. He holds a lot of SoFi and has been a follower. He's close with the team there. He knows the business very well. If I'm not mistaken, he has some level of a institutional, either investment or banking background. I'm not quite sure, but we can ask him. Okay. Sorry, we were talking about, I don't have any PayPal thoughts just yet. Haven't even looked through it yet. I really want to, but I'm also wondering when I'm going to find the time. We have, essentially Google and Meta, Microsoft tomorrow, then Amazon, Apple, Coinbase. I'm going to be swamped. Also, cannot wait to listen to those earnings. They're going to be a lot of fun. But, yeah. He might be sleeping, but I just saw a message go out from him. Oh, never mind. That was an hour ago. Okay, yeah, he might be sleeping. Okay. What's going on with BMNR? You guys are shouting at me for BMNR. Have I not been paying attention? Okay, let's see. BMNR boosts holdings. We have, so if there's not any or any particular news that you guys want me to cover, I have news of some leaked purchases and stuff like this, but you guys are freaking me out with the amount that you guys are asking me about BMNR. Still bullish on BMNR. I released a video on BMNR yesterday. And no one watched it, by the way. But yeah. Okay. So the news that I was going to talk about, which is exciting, but you guys were yelling like they're going BK or something. Tom Lee potentially just bought another 100 million. They're noticing very similar, styles of withdrawals from BitGo or what are the other ones? FalconX, Kraken, some of these other places that BitMine frequents, and in similar purchase volumes that BitMine ends up seeing. So they're a big believer, Arkham is, that BitMine is buying the dip. Now, so far, a lot of these have been correct. The Look On Chain guys, who they also source Arkham a lot, are saying whenever BitMine has been buying, and they've been really accurate on that. So there's no confirmation that that is Tom Lee buying, but, they buy every week. So, why not now? We'll see. I have BMNR. I'm still not fully on board. Well, I don't suggest if you don't like the company to not hold a lot of it. Do I have some trades on? So I'm not much of a trader. I'm very much a buy and hold kind of guy, but I do like Chime, for example. I'm a big believer that I'll be able to swing that name, and I'm looking for, if I can get 80%, 100% on that name over the next few months. I do think that that's a possibility. Not suggesting that anyone follow me into that, because it will be a speculative name, but we'll find out on hopefully pretty quickly on November 5th, whenever they show off earnings, if that's something that I should be doing. Who won the third game of the Blue Jays? I know it was 1-1. Who took the third game? Was it the Dodgers? But the Blue Jays are up by 1 right now. Cool. As Tom Lee has stated numerous times, crypto always leads the market by about 2 months, and Bitcoin looks very bearish. If Bitcoin enters a bear market soon, markets could drop significantly in 2026. Maybe. Didn't he just have a recent comment that he said he doesn't know? I'm pretty sure he just had a comment recently, which I covered on my last video, that he said he doesn't know which one's leading which right now, equities or crypto market. And that there might have been some swip swap that's been happening. So who knows? But yeah. Tanner's into sports. Every single person around me is talking about it. And I'm not even watching it. I'm just watching the score. Okay. Fiat money is effed up, so crypto moment is here. Well, honestly, what I think is probably going to be the most likely case is that crypto is going to revolutionize fiat money via stablecoins. So fiat money is I don't think the Federal Reserve, maybe one of the, or maybe the most powerful institution, is going to give up their power of controlling the reserve currency. I think the U.S. Government really, really likes that. Maybe there's some people that don't like that as much, but the government really likes that power. The U.S. government essentially doesn't have debt if they have the printing press. They have $38 trillion of payments, but I mean, they could get rid of that real quick if they turned on the printer. So I don't think there's a big rush for them to, move a lot of, or try to connect US dollars to Bitcoin or something like this. I just don't see it happening. That said, I do think that Ethereum has great properties to it, and that whenever US dollars are tied to Ethereum, not backed by Ethereum, but just using the technology, the same way that the US dollar on Visa rails would be just using Visa. It's not tied to Visa, but we pay through Visa. If we pay through Ethereum, that could be really good, and that there could be a lot of companies that end up setting up, or a lot of people and a lot of businesses around the world that end up getting easier access to US dollars via Ethereum, blockchain. Okay. Let's continue here. Let's get into Nvidia really quickly, or a couple different things that ended up happening. This is quite crazy. Listen to this AI story before we get into Nvidia, because this is the scary reality. The Iconist says terrifying reality in 2025. Financial sponsor built a prototype in 2 weeks during due diligence on AI healthcare company. The prototype outperformed the target's core product in clinical test, and it killed the deal. Essentially, this company was looking to buy this AI native healthcare company, but then it said, okay, well, let's find out how this sort of worked. They built a function that rivaled, they built a prototype that rivaled the functionality of what they were going to purchase, and it actually ended up being better than what they were going to buy. They did it in 2 weeks. So they ended up not buying the AI company. How many of the companies that are getting these insane valuations are these Chat GPT API wrappers doing something that if someone just tried to replicate themselves in a small amount of time could maybe make a product that is as viable or even potentially better? This worries me about a potential bubble in these AI names that are getting just so many hundreds of billions of dollars of funding for all of these AI unicorns. I wonder how many of are of any substance. That's going to be weird. I'm going to have to see. However, it doesn't mean that AI is, fake or false or anything like that. I actually think it proves the opposite. I think it proves how unbelievably powerful this new technology is. And there's companies today that are real and making money and making a lot of it. And that leads me to a name like Nvidia. I think a lot of people look for the next big name, and sometimes they just forget about the big names, the old guard that continues to just print more and more and more. And so, I was pounding the table on April Liberation Day. A lot of you guys were around during that time, and screaming to buy here for my own portfolio, increasing my average cost on Nvidia, getting in heavily, and boy, oh boy, am I happy after a day like today. Now, the reason why I'm talking about Nvidia is because, one, they're selling products today. Jensen Huang, during his GTC conference keynote, said that over the next 6 quarters, he believes there's a $500 billion worth of deals that they are going to see in revenue that's going to go, well, to Nvidia, right? But if you actually break down the next 6 quarters, how much Wall Street is essentially expecting for data center deals, it's roughly about $380 billion. So he just called for, $120 billion more if he's right. So half the market loved what he said. The other half is sort of saying, yeah, okay, good luck. We'll see it when it happens. And he said that right here. You see these 2 massive candles. Whenever people just realize, wait, did he just say what we think he said? Did he just call for $500 billion of potential revenue over the next 6 quarters? Oh, no. Not with China. I know you're saying that. Imagine with China. But he did not, like, that's US companies. That was 6 businesses. Amazon, Meta, Google, Microsoft, what was it? Oracle and CoreWeave? Does that sound right? Something along those lines. So, yeah. It's just crazy. That's not including gaming revenue. That's not including automotive or professional visualization or any of those other lines that they have. I did get it right. Amazon, CoreWeave, Google, Microsoft, Oracle, Meta. Boom. It was 6 quarters. Yeah. Jensen did mention Nebius, and everyone was like, yes, it's going to pop. And then it just started seeing red candles, and we're like, huh? But then he also mentioned Palantir, and I was on a call with Amit at the time, and I literally think he jumped out of his chair. And like, it's overdue, right? I think those are some of the biggest names in AI right now. Real projects in artificial intelligence are names like Palantir, like Nvidia. So of course they're going to come together. These are going to be some of the best and like, honestly, some of the best American companies. There's only going to be so many names like this. The future, like, true American businesses, the Andurils, the Palantirs, the Teslas, Nvidia, like, great tech names that are focused on building good products and letting the stock and the performance come afterwards. Funny, because I bet all of those names at one point have had severe short sellers on them as well, not calling the hype, calling them story stocks. Yeah. Okay. Did CrowdStrike end up taking a big bump? Yeah, there was a big call out for CrowdStrike. I'm betting on a no China deal. I mean, yeah, maybe. I do find it hard for them to avoid the best products in the world. And there's been countless. No, I mean, I could probably count them, but there's been a lot of people who have been caught smuggling Nvidia chips into China through Singapore, through I think it was Malaysia. There has been a couple. And like, if they want them that bad, maybe China ends up doing a deal eventually. I mean, maybe they're putting on a strong face right now. But the truth is that I think Nvidia is trying to prove that they don't even need it. They would love it. I wish this problem never happened. But guys, we're about to be a $5 trillion company tomorrow. Like, legit, if we go to like 205, we're a $5 trillion company. This will be the first company to ever in history to hit $4 trillion. That happened this year. And then $5 trillion in the same year. We have not seen earnings yet. And we'll get a lot of insight between now and the rest of the year, 2025. My $250 price target, which, to be fair, we stayed stagnant there for a while, doesn't seem as crazy now. I still can be a little bit excitable, but it's the long-term picture, okay? Take me with a grain of salt. I get excited, okay? But my stock, this is why I don't put expiration dates on the way that I trade, because my timelines might be slightly off, but the ideas we try to that's what I'm focused on. And we don't get that right either sometimes. You're coming here for the entertainment, okay? This is an entertainment show. I'm not overlooking the AMD upside. I think this is good for AMD. I think the market is so large. I don't think I've never said that this is bearish for AMD. But yeah. Nvidia unveils system to link quantum computers to its AI chips. How would this affect quantum stocks? Well, I don't think that it necessarily negatively affects them at all. It's not NV, it's NVQ link. NVQ link. Yeah, they're all using it. I think that it's going to benefit them. I think that this is where the industry is going. I just still don't know 100% about quantum. Like, don't get me wrong. I believe that the product is a real thing. It's just, what is the commercial demand for like solving that hard of a unique math problem? That's my only thing. So even Jensen was going on about the scientific discovery and scientific research and all of this stuff that's going to be discovered with quantum, and I believe all of that. But how much money is that? Like, to sell a bunch of quantum computers to schools? I honestly, and I'm not saying that to disparage quantum. I literally don't know, and I feel like I've never gotten an answer. But do I think that it's going to be a real technology and they will actually solve like stabilizing those qubits? And also, I'm so sorry for my, I don't follow quantum. So listening to the way that I talk about quantum is like probably listening to a third grader. But I'd also like to know what it's even for. Yeah, but dude, this doesn't mean anything. They're the most practical, and I've invested in since $6. Practical for what? Like, why doesn't anyone tell me? Someday what? Maybe quantum can devise cures for all diseases. There's money in that. Is there money in like the first person to crack it or solve those problems ends up patenting them, and then the licenses of those diseases? That's the money? Because to me, it would still be the healthcare companies that end up making all the money. Quantum leap, the quantum. I thought you said the quantum home. No, the leap home. What do you see as a bigger opportunity, D-Local or Chime? I'm not sure. That's a hard question. D-Local probably is more interesting than Chime. It will crack encrypted things like cryptography. Okay, what's the commercial aspect of cracking cryptography? Like cryptographic? Like, what? Whose business is that? Like, oh, yeah, any code you got there, we're gonna crack it for you. Who cares? You know what I mean? Someone will just end up creating some new. And now I'm not a math expert, but humans are pretty good at figuring this stuff out. I mean, like, we figured out explosives, and then they're like, oh my God, there's not a safe that we're not going to be able to crack. Like, we figure it out. But there's going to be new products that end up getting created that will be able to secure against quantum. That would be my guess. We've done that throughout all of history. We're not going to make some computer that just takes away the internet. But like, for real, even if there is a quantum computer that can bust in and ruin Bitcoin, Bitcoin's not worth anything at that point anyways. So what's the point? There's quantum proof hashing algos already. Okay, great. Awesome. It's called post-quantum cryptography. All right. You guys read more about this than I do. I'm here to learn. I'm not like my tone is up here, but I'm actually down here. I'm just drinking an energy drink, okay? I love you guys. This is my tone speaking. Don't infer this into how I actually feel about you. But I've gotten, cures to diseases. That could be a big one. I agree. And then we have, cracking cryptographic, I don't know the word, like encryptions, and you're always solving it. You're the best Bitcoin miner history has ever seen. What's the commercial aspect to that? You need like recurring customers. Drug discovery involves simulating the behavior of molecules and how they interact with each other. This requires massive amounts of computational power. I agree with you. Maybe huge amounts of GPU power. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm here to learn. Do we want to listen to Anthony Noto on the Bloomberg thing? This one did not get passed around as much. People did not really pay attention, or not that they didn't pay attention to it, but that they didn't end up hearing about this. But yeah, I do want to listen to this. I didn't even finish the back half of it, so this is even new to me. Complex systems, Tanner. Look it up. Yeah, but someone needs to break down to me the quantum total addressable market. I'm a total addressable market investor. To me, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. You guys got my point. I'm over it. Let's move on. SoFi.
You've been through the numbers on the call, but the story is that this one-stop shop platform is getting traction with affluent younger people. Is that the story that you'd want to tell?
Absolutely, and the results speak to that. We've driven 17 consecutive quarters where our revenue growth and our margins, when added together, exceeds the very attractive rule of 40 that technology investors like to see in software companies. We've actually averaged 58, and this quarter we're at 67%. We drove 38% revenue growth and have 29% EBITDA margins, which is an exceptional performance. And it's really the direct result of the foundation that we've built over the last 8 years to have this diverse set of products that are all now firing together to deliver durable growth and really strong profitability. Our business continues to diversify into products outside of lending. 56% of our revenue was from the non-lending segments, and that was up quite meaningfully, 57%. So the strategy is working. We had 35% member growth, 36% product growth, and then about 40% of the products in the quarter were bought by existing members.
Anthony, bear with me one moment, please. There's just some breaking news. Nvidia is making a $1 billion equity investment in Nokia.
I would never cut you off, Noto. Do an interview with me. I would never, even if Nvidia ended up signing a Chinese deal, I would talk about it after. Okay, hit me up. You got my number.
The European telecommunication networking name. Nvidia will subscribe Nokia shares at a price of $6.01 per share and hold 3% of the company, almost 3%, 2.9%. Nokia is going to use that money to accelerate its strategic plans around AI, and the shares will be delivered in the form of ADRs. It's an interesting piece of breaking news. We're here in DC for Nvidia GTC. I'm sure later in the day we'll get back to it. Anthony, thank you for bearing with me. The other question I want to ask about is what's happening in the market right now. If you are a fintech company and you put out a press release or you say the words OpenAI in the public forum, your stock goes ballistic. PayPal is an example of that. Does SoFi feel the need to integrate itself as an API through ChatGPT?
from a Nokia question with Nvidia directly into a completely separate company with a completely separate business model and everything, PayPal with ChatGPT. No questions about SoFi here. Does it feel the need to integrate with ChatGPT? What? We're a bank, dude. At this point, like I'm like, hey, they're more than a bank. But at this point, I'm like, we're a bank. All right, let's go back.
What I'd say is this: we're benefiting from two technology super cycles, blockchain and artificial intelligence. We'll talk about products and impact as they're released. I think it's critically important to stay grounded in reality of the business as well as the impact of these new initiatives on the business. We've recently launched something called SoFi Pay, which is the ability to pay in the United States through our app in dollars, money that's remitted internationally to Mexico as a start. It rides on a layer 2 blockchain and it arrives in the destination country in local fiat. We've rolled out in Mexico and we'll soon be adding the rest of LATAM as well as Europe, and we think it's a very unique product. We also will be launching before the end of the year the ability to buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies at SoFi. We'll be the first national bank in the US to offer buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies, and you'll be able to do it through your SoFi Money account. Our SoFi Money accounts are checking savings accounts. They have up to $2 million of FDIC insurance. People can open up a crypto account and fund that purchase directly from their SoFi Money account seamlessly. So not only are we building unique products, but we're stitching them together so that you have a seamless ability to use all of our products and it's better to use them together. We'll also launch next year a stablecoin, which we think will impact a number of our different businesses. It'll be part of SoFi Pay. It'll be part of SoFi buy, hold, and sell crypto, and will also be offered to our technology platform partners.
The product innovation is rapid, Anthony. What's interesting, though, is trying to understand the asset quality going forward. And as Ed started this conversation, there's perhaps a sort of higher level, higher type of person that you've been marketing to. But PayPal's just been saying amid their earnings they're worried about the US consumer right now. Are you?
No, we're not. Our consumer is very strong. We're going after prime and super prime customers with their lending products. Our credits performed incredibly well. We actually saw an improvement sequentially again in net charge-offs by about 20 basis points across both products. Our average FICO score for our personal loans is in the 740 range, and the average FICO score for our student loan financing is in the 750 range. So we're seeing really strong performance of credit and great demand from our capital markets partners in our loan platform business, which is now in this quarter over $3 billion, up $900 million sequentially. And so not only is our credit performing well, the returns investors are getting in buying our loans or licensing with us on our loan platform business is also performing well. And we see a flight to quality, and we're benefiting from that.
Anthony, you have been talking about the innovations when it comes to investing in AI, investing in crypto. Maybe there's a bit of inorganic as well as organic. But I'm interested about what it means for your workforce. Are you still going to be expanding briefly? Might you see some trimming in terms of corporate jobs?
We are accelerating our rate of investment, and we've announced a number of new initiatives, including the smart card for next year as part of SoFi Plus. We'll continue to expand the selection that we have in the Invest product, and I mentioned the crypto investments. We're also doing things in artificial intelligence. We've recently launched Cash Coach, which is a way to evaluate the cash that you have in your SoFi accounts and all of your external accounts and show you how you're not using your cash optimally. We'll also launch something more broadly called Coach, which will answer your questions, but most importantly, help you understand how to spend less than you make so you can invest the rest. We're moving forward with hiring. We've hired more engineers this year than we've had in the past, and we don't see that slowing down.
I mean, come on now. Come on. We're hiring more engineers than we have in the past, and we do not see that slowing down. Okay. I wanted to talk about one of the points that he ended up bringing up, which was Cash Coach. Or not Cash Coach. What am I talking about? Smart card. For example, I'll let him talk it. I'll let him say it. Can you hear anything? I can't hear anything. Hello?
For example, we will soon be launching the SoFi Smart Card, a new card that brings together the best features to help our members spend, save, and pay better. It will be part of our SoFi Plus offering, and it will serve as a platform for continuous innovation. The card will offer 5% back on food, our highest interest rate on deposits, credit builder capabilities, borrowing capabilities, and so much more.
Okay, you know what I think about here is like a very a mix of both, but potentially a very premium card that requires a level of work or membership with SoFi than ever before. This is not premium card in terms of, hey, you need to pay a certain annual fee. No, you need to give us direct deposit. This is a SoFi Plus offering, meaning this is only for the 25% or whatever the rate of, it was 25% almost a year and a bit ago. So who knows what percentage is SoFi Plus right now? So only available to maybe 2 million customers at most, and serves as a card that will offer 5% cash back on food and our highest interest rate on deposits, a credit builder capability, borrowing capabilities, and so much more. So potentially, hopefully, SoFi ends up getting into, SoFi lounges and like all these premium things, and just completely wraps their arms around a customer and says, hey, we're going to offer you great cash back, the highest APY, like so high that you have zero business looking elsewhere. All you got to do is give us your direct deposit. You got to give us your spend. You have to give us, there was some talk about this card back in the day, you'd have to lock that money up in an investing account. Doesn't seem like that's part of it anymore, but maybe, either way, there's so much that they could do with this. They're very much going into the Amex style of financial services, lending themselves to the more affluent customer and could potentially work their way up, by the way. SoFi's in that sort of, couple 100,000 range, but they could go after millionaires. They could be that bank that services customers that are making a lot of money. Real white glove, hands-on service. That would be very cool. Now, I don't know if they'd care too much about the only 5% on, back on food. I think that it might be a little more beneficial for them to use a 3% total cashback card or something along these lines. But yeah, let's go ahead and listen to what Dan Dolev had to say on the quarter really quickly. I have not seen this, but let's see what Dan had to say about SoFi. You guys can't hear anything? What? What are you talking about? Tell me if you hear this.
Because if you think about like all the boxes are being checked positively.
This guy, idiot. You're not hearing anything right now.
Right. Net charge-offs, which is
good now. Okay.
The shares are up, 90% this year? And the numbers on the face of it looked relatively strong, but the stock is pulling back. What's going on there?
I think it's just profit taking. Like, this has been a monster, very different from PayPal. Like, we're bullish on both, but SoFi has been an absolute monster all year. To be honest, I'm also a little bit surprised because if you think about like all the boxes are being checked positively, right? Net charge-offs, which is a key yardstick, right? Those are like the delinquencies. They're coming down. Originations are flying off the chart. So I think, and a lot of it defied, if you kind of lived here in the area that I live in over the last month, there has been enormous worries about like consumer health, lending health. This has literally defied all those worries. Again, if I were a betting man, this is just profit taking on the backdrop of like a very, very strong year. So I would expect that to be a buying opportunity heading into the future.
Dan, is this how younger people are banking now? Are they just going to SoFi instead of going to the more traditional money center banks?
A great question. Yes, this is it's but you know what's more interesting than that? It's actually not just young people. So people in our industry, I mean, I have some money with SoFi because they're paying a great yield. So, I mean, it's not advertising here. I'm just saying, I'm just being honest. I sent, it's great. It's very convenient, but I think they don't need, it proves to you that you don't need a bank, right? There's these banks in Europe like Revolut and et cetera that are doing incredibly well. And SoFi is really the only one that's been able to sort of do that. There's some other competitors, but they're more niche, right? If you think about Chime, that's just catering to a very specific part of the population, like the lower income people. SoFi's got it all, and it's got a great, I hate to say that, it's got a great mousetrap. It's not a good use of words, but people know what I'm talking about. It's great, let's call it a great funnel, right? It's got a great funnel. It brings people in, great personal loan rates, home loan originations, student loan refinancing, which has been, literally huge this quarter. And they let you do a lot of banking and crypto and whatever you want. So yeah, the answer is yes to your long-winded answer to your question.
Not bad. I don't mind that. I like the part where he said, "Yep, I'm also banking with SoFi. They have a good mousetrap or funnel." Yeah. But that's the type of customer that they want to cater to, right? Dan makes good money. Head research analyst at a big bank. Okay. Nvidia 206. No way. Oh my gosh. What is going on? What is going on? Hold on. There's some crazy news that just popped off in the last couple of minutes. There must be. Nvidia 206. I'm not seeing any direct related Nvidia news immediately. Telecommunications, Palantir partnership. We've known about all of that. Anything, guys? Are you guys seeing anything here? Yeah, that's $5 trillion, by the way. This is $5 trillion. If they open up at this price, so we can't count it right now. If they open up at this price, 206.41, that is insane. That's insanity. Oh my gosh. And then here, as I'm getting excited, big red candle. But what led us green in the first place? Okay, let's see what I can find. Yeah, it's the first company, if they open up like this, to hit 4 trillion and then 5 trillion in the exact same year. There's never been two milestones like this that have been hit in the same year. You're saying China, but I don't see China deal. See if Trump tweeted anything. Is he in an interview right now? I'm not seeing Donnie T say anything. Truth Social posts, nothing since the last hour. 206.86. What the heck is going on? Oh, this is some big news here. This is some huge news right now. Partnership with Oracle. AI on radio access network stack. Uber partnership for Robotaxi. 207. Holy freaking crap. Let's go to AMD, see if this is... Yep, AMD's up 1%. There's something going on here. Trump may speak with Nvidia or may speak about Nvidia Blackwell chip with Xi. That sounds about right. Trump, Xi. Is this on Bloomberg? Is this on Barron's? It hasn't even made its way to X, not that I can find. Trump expresses optimism about his upcoming meeting with China's Xi. That could be it. U.S. President Donald Trump heads to South Korea on Wednesday for the final leg of his Asia trip, with high-stake meetings expected with Chinese President Xi in South Korea. This is what it is. Cactus Jack, who is really good at this. Trump speaking to reporters. Trump said, Jensen presented me with the Blackwell chip in the Oval Office. We'll be speaking about NVIDIA's Blackwell chips with Xi. NVIDIA breaches $5 trillion in overnight session, first company in history to do so. Holy crap. Guys, like my net worth has gone up like 4% today on this one name. I'm not worried. I'm blown away. This is an insane day. I don't know if, honestly, if my portfolio has changed this much in value if we open up like this tomorrow in a 24-hour period ever in my life. $206.86. If we end up getting a deal with China on top of the $500 billion comments that he ended up making, what are we talking about? Like, we will be at 250 by end of year. We will be. Doesn't sound crazy anymore, does it? It doesn't sound crazy. Here, 1 second. Yo, I'm on stream.
What's up?
Are you looking at Nvidia right now? Why aren't you tweeting?
No, wait, what's happening?
It just broke 207.
Wait, what? I was
Dude,
not looking at a video.
Dude, Trump, Jensen presented me with the Blackwell chip in the Oval Office. We'll be speaking about NVIDIA's Blackwell chip with Xi.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, we're about to get this China revenue. Wait, did he tweet that? I don't see the tweet.
Cactus, dude, your freaking employee tweeted it.
Cactus? Did he send it? Oh, he just sent it to me. Oh, shit, he just sent it to me. Yeah. Dude, let's go. Oh, he's speaking to reporters on Air Force One right now. That's what's happening. Dude, that's crazy.
Dude, we had a 5% day. This is they're over $5 trillion right now.
Bro, I mean, you know, the thing is, a couple of hours ago, I just randomly thought, like, wait a second, if the China meeting's about to happen and he says anything good about Nvidia chips, like, this is going higher. It has to go higher.
Yeah. 207.30 right now, just breaking another high. 207.40.
207.30. Tanner, I was telling everybody when we were done with the stream and with GTC stream, and we were just talking after, and we were both just staring at the stock. It was at like 197, 198.
Yeah.
And now we're both staring at the stock. 5 hours later, it's like 207, 208. Like, that's crazy,
Bro, honestly, if we open up like this, I don't know if there's been a 24-hour period where I've made this much money in my life.
Yeah, dude, this is pretty incredible. Like, I would imagine, I mean, you're 41% in this thing, right? So it's got to be a big move for you.
On top of Shopify and SoFi also having good days as well. So for me, this is like, I don't know what percent, but it's like somewhere around 70% of my portfolio.
Bro, Jensen presented me with Blackwell chip in the Oval Office. We'll be speaking about Nvidia's Blackwell. I mean, that's all you have to say. Dude, I really did think of this a couple hours ago, but I didn't put too much thought into it. But I was just like, wait a second. He's going to meet Xi soon. And if Nvidia's on the table, like, the move is not finished. Like, this is probably going up. And then with the 500 billion move, over 5 quarters guidance Jensen gave, without China, if you include China, you know, and to be honest, you're the first person, I think a couple months ago, that said you think fair value is 220 by end of year. And I was like, no fucking way. I was like, nah, I don't see that happening.
And
But
now it's, I think I made a video on a $250 price target. But if we honestly get a signed deal with China, ooh, I mean, and earnings, you got to believe we're getting a lot closer.
Yeah, my price target was 180, and but my EPS estimates were like $4. We're definitely going to beat $4 for earnings per share. Yeah, this is quite incredible. Is everyone in the chat going crazy?
People are going nuts, man. But I won't keep you. I thought you were watching this, but holy crap, man. Holy crap. Busy day. I know.
I was literally not. I was not watching it. Thank you for calling me. Now I know to tell everyone on Twitter that Nvidia's up. Like, I didn't even.
Yeah, wake your ass up. Start tweeting. I was looking for your tweets. You weren't there. Okay.
That's crazy, dude. Well, congrats to you, man. This is a big day for you. I mean, this is if tomorrow is even better, then this is going to be the best week, probably financially, you've had ever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. By dollar amount, yeah.
By dollar amount, yeah. I'm only in it because of you, so thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. But let me know what you're doing for the rest of the big tech earnings or whatever, and you know, maybe we can call each other again and talk about what we're seeing.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's gonna be a big day.
All right, man. I'll talk with you later.
All right. Later.
Bye. Holy crap. I needed to talk to somebody. Steve was busy. I was going to wake his ass up. Yep. It looks like, by the way, really quick on the Nvidia news, BM&R looks like they did buy. Look on chain, which has been very, very accurate, is actually quoting Arkham right now on that, $113 million purchase. Quoting them at holding 3.34 million total ETH, or 13.3 billion at this current ETH price, 39.82 right now. Holy. Steve is talking to a chef. Okay. Yeah, wake his ass up. That's funny. Jeffries raises SoFi's price target to $35. Hong, you want a job, buddy? You've been delivering news like crazy. I just realized Amit has a guy to send him news. I think I might need you. I think I might need your help. Oh, never. What do you? This 6-hour-old news. I mean, I'm slow, but come on. Maybe you're not getting paid just yet. It's already in my Discord? Oh, okay. Well, all right, exposed. Tanner's getting exposed and canceled for not viewing his own Discord as much today. Yeah, you're right. Okay. But you're right. Jefferies ended up raising its price target to $35 for SoFi, citing strong Q3 beat and raise on rate cut tailwinds, up from $32, which they just recently put on. They said Q3 beat across originations, member growth, and fee-based revenue. Full year 2025 guidance raise showing upside to Q4, right? Because of the comments that who was that? The CFO ended up making. They also said a transition to a capital light model enhances return on equity potential. They want to get into refi, crypto, and stablecoin expansion to support the next leg of growth. Price target was lifted on earnings momentum and growth diversification. And just some extra comments from the analysts. They said Q3 2025 results beat street expectations across most metrics, driven by record originations, member growth, and fee-based revenue. Full year 2025 guidance was raised, showing upside to Q4, and SoFi is well positioned to sustain growth with opportunities in crypto, stablecoin, and student and home loan refi amid a rate cut environment. These initiatives support its shift to a capital light model and in pursuit of a constructive ROE target. Wow, way to just say everything that I just said in one sentence. Still cool. Got no problems with that. Okay. SoFi's getting a lot of attention today, by the way. I'm seeing a lot of posts on SoFi just getting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of impressions online. Usually SoFi does not see this type of demand for how they're doing. But yeah. TD ended up maintaining their hold rating on SoFi with a price target of $25. Yuck. I don't know what some of these people do. They go and they're like, yeah, it's the same old SoFi as the last couple quarters. Keep it the same as it was. Freaking, what are we talking about? William Blair ended up updating. Wow, the TD, the date on this TD call is insane. Look at this. This guy updated this price target tomorrow. We see it today. How cool is that? This guy updated it in the future. Downside 21%. Don't look at the Sora things. I don't, or the OpenAI stuff. I don't care about this price target at all. Andrew Jefferies, we'll see also what he had to say. But yeah, which is not the same as Jefferies, by the way. Jefferies is John Echt. Andrew Jefferies is William Blair. And before, I think he was the first person ever to have like a really, really bullish stance on SoFi. So I'm going to try to get that report. I have Devin Ryan's report. I haven't even opened it yet. But, well, actually, that's not true. I did end up getting to see that there was not a price target associated with it. But I did not read it. Literally a word. Nvidia still running. 206.67. Man. It's 3:15 p.m. Wednesday. Don't lie to me. It's 29th of October. Doesn't make sense to me. I'm 28. It's the 28th today. The world revolves around me. You guys are in the future. Okay. Let's see. How much market cap has Nvidia gained today? Ooh. That's a good question. 191 at the bottom. Actually, sorry, no. Yesterday they closed. Yeah, no, it was 191 at the bottom. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Probably somewhere around 300-400 billion or something like that. 300-400 billion. Bloom Energy. Where are they now? Up 20%. Holy crap. I was watching them this morning, after earnings, where they had popped, I think, like up to like 4% or maybe 8% at one point. I did not see them popping up 20%. They gained a Goldman Sachs in market cap today. Yep. Jeez. Tanner, yeah, honestly, the more SoFi runs, the more, and all this bullish outlook from all these analysts, the more I believe that they will get into the S&P 500 very quickly. We will see. We will see. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to try to get a updated SoFi video up for you guys, as well as a prediction on Amazon and Google and all of those names that actually tomorrow will be Meta and Google. I think the next day is Amazon and Apple. But I want to get a prediction out for you guys. So let me go ahead, wrap up here, and then I will jump into the or I'll jump into working on those next videos now. But thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. This one was a little bit different of a live stream. Felt a little bit more like just covering news in live time. I have so many stories that we didn't even get through, but obviously talking about how Joby Aviation is partnering with Nvidia to develop autonomous flight systems for future eVTOL air taxis is not as cool as talking about Nvidia at 207, or Palantir and Nvidia, or let's see, Polymarket wants to return to the US within weeks, or what else? Amazon has halted a large portion of its video game development projects to refocus resources. I didn't want to talk about that stuff. So actually, this one I did want to, but we didn't end up getting time. Trump Truth Social is teaming up with Crypto.com to launch the world's first social media prediction market platform. What? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate your time. But bye for now.